Hello everyone, good to see you again. It is our pleasure to see so many of you coming back for the webinar series that we are hosting. This is AIBotics 2021 Go Digital Series. We'll be running this digital series over the 5 weeks from the 19th of August all the way to the 15th of September. Last week we had a great event on intelligent drones and the attendance was fantastic. In fact, we're very happy to see many of you back here again to see us for this week's session. This week, we have another exciting set of speakers for you. Our theme for today will be on AI, accreditation, and readiness. Now, AI, of course, is a very hot topic nowadays, and many of us always think about how we can actually incorporate this new technology into our work, not just work, but home and society. The question is, are we ready? Do we know when we're ready to start to include this technology into our work environment? And what sort of skills and accreditation we need to look into? So we're very excited, in fact, very excited to bring to you the speakers we have. APARA as an organization advocates the ability for us to leverage technology, particularly AI and robotics, to augment human capability and potential. And AIBotics is one such event that we believe we can bring this greater awareness to all of you. And thank you very much for your support in joining us at this event. To kick off, we have with us here Mr. Khoo Peng San, who is the president of the AI Professionals Association. Now, you won't believe it, right? We now have a growing pool of AI talents in Singapore and of course within the region as well. And we need to come together so that we can build that network of talents that we can reach out to whenever we need to build a AI application. So without much to do, I'm going to pass you over to Mr. Khoo, who will then share with you the plans that he has for the association. Peng San, over to you. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Oliver. So maybe let me share my screen now, and then we'll get right into it. So give me a second. Right, so good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Khoo. You can call me Khoo. So I come from the AI Professionals Association. So I'll cover today some of the common AI adoption challenges that I observe through my own work and also through my community work as well. So a quick introduction about me. So you can call me Khoo. So by day, I actually have my own day job, which is to do consulting and training and also even mentoring as well in the space of data science and artificial intelligence. And my nighttime job, right, I actually run two tech communities. One is, of course, what you're seeing over here, AI Professionals Association, and the other one is actually a very informal tech community called Data Science SG. So today I actually represent AI Professionals Association, so AIP in short. So maybe before I go into the go into the common AI adoption challenges, right, let me share with you a bit more about what AIP actually does. So we are set up to actually build up an ecosystem to support the growth and usage of AI to really build a better society. And we hope to create a vibrant and active community to actually support that growth. So the aim is also to help individuals and also to help business organizations as well when it comes to adopting artificial intelligence. So for individuals, we would like to help passionate individuals, right, to level up their AI capabilities, and also for organizations, right, we would like them to be able to use AI ethically and also with confidence. So that's what we aim for. So this is a vision and mission. So at the end of the day, it's really we would like to focus more on professional development for our members. We like to help our organization members try to build up the necessary capabilities and also provide a networking platform where talents and businesses can meet together to really increase the usage of AI and then be able to use AI ethically and also to develop and promote some standards of practice wherever possible, wherever we see the need as well. So this is sort of the vision and mission of us. So without much further ado, let me get into the more important stuff, which is what is the more common AI adoption challenges that we see in most businesses. So I think every one of us know what artificial intelligence is already, and actually being in the industry for so long already, right? I actually started my career when we were using data for what is known as business intelligence, and then now we have traversed through my career, right? Now we are at this artificial intelligence. I'm very glad and very happy to see that actually nowadays a lot of people knows what are they, and actually now has been asking more of like how can they be used. So everyone also knows there are like many use cases of it already. If you do not know, basically your smartphone has a lot of them, has a lot of use cases for it. Your smartphone apps, if you go to your internet websites, and especially like e-commerce and all this, I think most of us won't be able to miss e-commerce. They are giving us so much ads these days. So they are also made out of artificial intelligence use cases behind the scene as well. So generally now it's not a question of whether AI can do something or not. Rather, how can we now use AI, right, to really create an impact to business? So that it will be the current focus that we should be in right now. So, like I mentioned before, during my work both in the community and also during my daytime job, right? Here are some of the reasons I observe, right, that is sort of holding back the adoption of artificial intelligence. There are four main reasons, four bigger reasons. So the first one is actually justifying its value. The second one is actually data availability and also the quality as well. And the third one is finding the right talents. And the fourth one is actually a lack of roadmap. So these are some of the things that we have observed, reasons that I observe. And I'll try to talk a bit more into that as we go along. So at the end of the day, I think as all businesses, right, we all know that we have to adopt projects, right, where the value is greater than the cost. Is only if we do that, right, then projects will survive. And only when we do that, right, then like this momentum to push artificial intelligence and data science in your organization, right, then it will survive. So the main important thing is value must be greater than the cost. So this one we all understand about it. Now, the thing is this, cost is easier to calculate because we have more control over it. But unfortunately, when it comes to calculating value of projects, right, that's where there are bigger challenges because value of projects, right, there are many, they are not within our control, and it can actually vary by quite a fair bit. So generally, if for any organization, if they really want to start adopting AI, right, I will have to say this, and that is your first project is very, very important. Why is that? So first, you really need to find projects, right, where the value, despite its variability, right, it needs to be substantially larger than cost. So you need to be able to have your first project doing that, which is your value, given its variability, right, is substantially larger than cost. So that at the worst case scenario, right, you still be able to gain something from it. Or the worst case scenario is you cut the whole project, but at least your cost is not that high. So find projects where the value, despite its variability, is substantially larger than cost. And then as we go along in the projects, right, manage the cost upfront. So here's the question: how do we know whether the value is substantially greater than the cost, and so on and so forth? So unfortunately, if for new talents, right, who just joined in the industry, who doesn't really have much implementation experience and all this, right, it can be a challenge for them to determine the value of a project. So generally, to justify its value, right, the key here is actually requiring a pair of experienced eyes, right, to gauge someone who has already run projects before, someone who has already done projects before, he or she would then be able to know like what's the possible value you can gain from it. Is it something of value to the business? Is the cost manageable? What are the risks involved? And so on and so forth. Again, at the end of the day, this is one of the reasons why I observe projects doesn't get ahead, and that is the value, justifying its value. So this is the first reason. Second reason is, of course, if you're going to do artificial intelligence, and if you're going to do data science and all this, right? The key here is data availability. So unfortunately, what happens is a lot of companies and even startups, right? What they do is they start out on this AI journey, right? Only when the data collection is just an afterthought. So what I mean by that is they only start saying that, hey, I want to go on the AI journey, right? Okay, let's start collecting data. So it's not managed as a strategic asset, unfortunately, but rather they just thought of it and then say, let's collect the data. And in that sense, right, since you do not have a sort of a proper management of data, right, so the data becomes very poorly managed. It could lack granularity. It could lack specific data that's not collected, or it could have missing data as well. And to be fair, collecting data can be very challenging, and also the quality of it, right, really actually vary with the use cases that is possible in your organization. So for all of you, remember this, data takes time and planning to collect. Planning at least is within our control, but time is not. So proper planning is important here, right, to ensure that data is available, that's one, and data is of the right quality, right, for your use cases. Because once you start collecting and all this, right, it's not going to be easy for you to go back time and collect back the data that you have missed out. And that is something that if you look at it, right, you can turn it to your advantage as well. So if you start early, plan well, you can actually use time as a competitive advantage over your other competitors. So plan, and then have the use cases laid out as well, wherever possible. And once your use cases is laid out, you can then plan your data collection accordingly. Now, however, I'm not advocating saying that, your data collection planning, right, will be 100% perfect. No, that's not really the case at all. In fact, be prepared to iterate along the way. As you go along in your AI journey, right, you also have to keep on focusing on your data as well. How do you plan to collect better data? How do you actually do better labeling, and so on and so forth? In fact, if you look at US, if you observe US, right, and if you know of this professor called Andrew Ng, he is now actually starting sort of a movement to now go back and focus on data. And of course, not only data quality alone, but also looking at labeling data, how to label data better, how to manage the quality, how to manage the outliers, and so on and so forth. So it's actually quite an interesting movement that we are observing right now, and hope to see more people get on board with that movement as well. So have your use cases laid out, plan the data collection, and iterate along the way. And meanwhile, right, really, it'll be good for you to still explore your current data regardless, even though you have collected already. So since you have already collected data, we can still explore the data, analyze the data, and hey, who knows, you may have some quick insights from it immediately as well. That's something that you can use. Now, the third reason why what I observe, right, one common mistake that I observe a lot of organizations, what they do is they went out and hire a green data scientist, and then after that throw the whole AI staff and data science staff, right, to the talent and expect the talent to build from ground up. Now, I like to stress this here, and that's not going to help at all. You can't expect the green data scientist or the AI engineer to be able to do that. So before hiring the first talent, right, my suggestion is this: have the use cases laid out first, and then after that, why is that so? Is because AI use cases or data science use cases, right, has a large variety. It could be computer vision, it could be natural language processing or text processing, it could be forecasting, it could be many different variety, different types of it. So it's best for you to lay out first. Once you lay out ready, then you have some idea what are the kind of skills and talent that you need, and then you find the talents that are familiar with the use cases. So those that has relevant experience. So do that, and then you'll be able to hire the right talent for the right job. So remember this last point I have over there at the bottom, and that is hire because of solution, not because of knowledge in tools. Some of the boot camps out there has been selling that, hey, in order to be a data scientist or AI engineer and all this, you have to know Python. That's not really the case. Let me share with you that you actually need to know a lot more than that. And you may not come from being in an environment, right, that only requires Python alone. You may actually have to know a lot of other different languages and tools as well. So I think more importantly is really focus on hiring because of solution and not because of knowledge in the tools. Now, if you want to know a bit more about finding the right talents and all this, right, you can talk to us, AIP. We have this program called Chartered AI Engineer. So just put it down here so that you can have a chat with us later on if you're interested to find the right talents. And I think one more thing is this, a lack of a roadmap for most of the organization that we see. Really, what I observe, right, is really one successful project, right, can really spark a momentum. And the next challenge, right, will be how to keep that momentum going. Now, how to keep that momentum going, this is where you need to have a lot of buy-ins. You need to be able to seek a lot of stakeholder support and all this. And this is where a roadmap really helps. The roadmap actually will help you to focus on the valuable projects and also be able to manage your costs upfront, or you can see like which projects can share costs and so on and so forth. However, I'd like to warn most of you, and that is if you're thinking of building a roadmap, right? My personal belief that in order to build a roadmap, you need someone with a lot of experience with different types of projects. What are the requirements and so on and so forth. So it's more important to really have someone who knows the business side of things and also the AI side of things as well, so that he can mash up the two together, like how to mesh the strategy, the target market, the revenue model, and so on and so forth. Now, if you're thinking of having your own roadmap first before you seek someone's opinion, check out AIAR later on, which will be presented by my another guest, Singming. What's AIAR? AIAR is actually AI Readiness Index that is developed by AI Singapore, and I believe AI Singapore's Director of Innovation, Lawrence, will be sharing with you right after my discussion. So in summary, really justify its value. Make sure the value is substantially greater than the cost. Data availability and quality. Plan your use cases and start early. Finding the right talents. Plan your use cases and hire accordingly. And if there's a lack of roadmap, start one with the experience. Look for someone experienced to help you with the roadmap. So with that being said, I wish all of you good luck and all the best in your AI journey. And thank you very much. And if you need to keep in contact with me or with the association, this is our email address.
Thank you so very much, Ping Shan. This is a wonderful opening discussion for us today.